right. Couple folks coming in. Welcome. We just have been saying to put your kid's name in the chat, your name in the chat. Welcome everybody to our February meeting. Thanks for joining us. We can go ahead and hit the next slide and keep on admitting folks as we go. Jody, your chair, as usual. This is our agenda for this month's meeting. We just have a couple of things to talk about today, and we will go ahead and get started. First up, we have a couple of uh, calls for volunteers. Our first one is for an information session we have coming up for our new prospectives, parents, and students. So the lottery happened last week. No, it's happening. Keep me honest. Yes, it's happening. You're on mute, Dr. Van Laer, but it's happening. It's
Tomorrow.
happening this Friday. And once those students have gotten their spot at Arlington Tech, they're going to, they might have some questions. So we're going to have a Zoom call on February 23rd. And I would love to not be the only person talking at these people. So if anyone would like to join me on this call, oops, can we go back?
Sorry.
Yep. Oop. Ah. If anyone would like to join me on this call to talk to prospective students and their parents, we're going to publicize this call. That's the Zoom link. We will be posting these slides for everyone, but to have this link and my email address. But if anybody is interested, also you can put it in the chat right now if you'd like to join us. But that would be just, a lovely way to meet some new parents, give them our perspective about the school, tell them how great Arlington Tech is. So we'd love to have you. Next slide. Some other volunteers that we need coming up in May. It's a little ways away, but we are starting to pull together a committee for Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week is May 4th through 8th. I didn't see her come on yet. Is Jenny with us? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. Jenny Hornback is our volunteer for Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week. She pulls the whole thing together, and she is going to be looking for volunteers to be on that committee because there's a lot of things we do throughout the week. We do a very big breakfast meal for the teachers and staff in the office, but we also do a lot of other things throughout the week, little notes, little other types of gifts and fun things. We do gift cards. We do a lot of things for the whole week for all the teachers and staff. So there's a lot of different moving parts that she needs help. She's not the only one. She can't do it alone. So if you would like to volunteer for Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, we will have her email on the slides as well. You can also put that in the chat, but we were going to have her email as well on the slides. We can get her email to you if you are interested in volunteering for Teacher and Staff Appreciation. We can't put people's emails on the slides or they won't let us post the slides to Zoom. So I will get her email out to everybody after the meeting, but if you would like to volunteer for Teacher Appreciation Week, please let Jenny know. Next up, before we know it, senior prom and end of the year will be here for our seniors, and we want to help send them out into the world the best way we can. So if you would like to volunteer to help our seniors, please help them out in any way. No way is too big or too small. Helping with prom, decorating, other kinds of things, getting ready for prom. They do a lot of activities at the end of the year for the last week or two of school. The staff member, Christina Pneumatikatos, I know how to pronounce it, is the one who will take all of those volunteers, and her email is there at the bottom of the screen as well. So she is the one to contact if you are interested in volunteering to help with our seniors. And you don't have to be a senior parent. They would love to have any volunteers. This is a great way to get involved, to learn what goes into helping out our senior class. If you are maybe a junior parent like myself or other junior parents or just any grade who wants to help out our seniors. Great way to help. Next one. Last but not least, it's never too early to think about serving on this board, the ATAC, Arlington Tech Advisory Committee Board for next year. So we are starting to think about that to support our students and our families. We have the board, which is comprised of the chair, myself, the vice chair, currently Heidi. We have Heidi, hello. Our treasurer, Sam, hello. And our secretary, Shayna. But we also have a ton of other volunteers who run the other committees, like I was mentioning for teacher appreciation, all of our grade liaisons, all of the different other involvement that we have. So we have a Google form if you are interested. Again, that link will be here. We're going to send out these slides after we're done. So if you are interested, we can send that out in an email as well. If you are interested in volunteering with ATAC next year, let us know. Maybe if you also want to put that, if we can put that in the chat right now, that would be great. So we'd love to have you, and we can answer any questions as well. If you have any questions about what it takes to serve on the ATAC committee or the board, feel free to email me as well. Next one. We are still awaiting the vote for the new GHC Langston proposal, the proposal on the non-traditional school. Um, I'm not getting my words together, but February 19th, next week, the school board will vote at the school board meeting at 7 p.m. at the SciFac Center on the proposal we've been talking about a lot in the past few months. There are still ways that you can get involved in this advocacy that we have been working toward. We still have the WhatsApp chat, the you can still write to the school board. That contact information is here. You can sign up to speak at the meeting. If you don't want to speak, you can still attend the meeting and wear gear, bring signs to support those that are speaking. There's lots of ways to get involved in that capacity. The next slide as well shows other ways to, oh,
Oh,
do we lose that slide?
yeah, no, that
We
I
took
can
that one out?
find the slides.
Oh, okay. So either way, Um, please feel free to let us know if you are interested in learning more about the proposal. If you haven't already, heard about it. Basically, the non-traditional schools proposal before the board is going to talk about bringing the Langston School. Do we have any idea of what way the board is leaning? It does look like they are leaning toward bringing the school over and, having the two academy model at this point. But there are still, you are absolutely able to make your voice heard in any way. It looks like, but they are voting on different pieces. So it's not necessarily composed into one or, an all or nothing situation. They're voting on four different pieces of that, yes, with two principals in one building, and there's a lot of different moving parts. So, we can still speak to certain different areas of it and how we feel about all of those different pieces. So, by all means, continue to advocate for our school, continue to write to the school board. I believe there's also an office hours that's still happening. So, there's still lots of ways to get involved and talk to the school board. So, I have to be out of town, but I plan to still speak virtually to the school board on the 19th by phone if they let me. You always sign up. You don't know if you speak until right before, but that's my plan. And so we're going to do our best for our school and see what comes of it on the 19th. Dr. Van Laer, we're ready to hear from Dr. Van Laer.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. I have a few updates here of things that are coming up in the upcoming weeks. Tomorrow, at the very last minute, we weren't going to do a Valentine's Day bazaar. Nobody organized it, and then we had a bunch of kids reach out and say, "Aren't we doing the bazaar? And we want to have a table." So all of a sudden, at the last minute, boom, there's this Valentine's Day bazaar tomorrow. So some people are going to be selling some items. They're going to be selling some snacks, and they're going to be selling, like, I know they're creating a photo booth and some experiences for kids. So if your student wants to bring in some cash, if anybody actually has cash anymore, if anybody wants to bring in cash, some clubs are doing it as fundraisers. So that will be going on tomorrow. There's also a spa day in the cosmetology lab. So if anybody wants to get a facial or manicure, come on in and you can have some services at the spa day. And students can do that during the day as well. As Jody said, tomorrow is the lottery at 4 p.m. And so this year for the incoming freshman class, we had 500 applications for 250 spots. This Saturday, I sent out in my newsletter this week, remember math tutoring on Saturday. And then the next day I was told, no, actually, this Saturday is the one Saturday we're not having it because the building's not open. So I had to say, I think Christina sent out just kidding, there isn't math tutoring this Saturday. But they will pick it back up next Saturday. So it's just off for this Saturday. And what's interesting is like last Saturday, we had 2 classrooms filled with kids that were coming in, and some of them kind of plan on it. So they were disappointed to find out that it wasn't going to be here this Saturday. It's a nice, calm kind of community, relaxed, chill atmosphere. So students can drop in from 9 to 12, and there's nothing intimidating about it. Last week we had 3 math teachers there to hang on. And then on the 18th and 19th, okay, so Junior Capstone Showcase, I just want to point this out for a second. The seniors are in capstones right now. What we like to do is have the seniors talk to the juniors about the experiences they've had so that the juniors can learn a little bit about what students have done, whether they've liked it, what it looks like really in practical, terms day by day, get a little bit of detail on those offerings or those opportunities that might be coming to them. And so on the 18th and the 19th, we ask the seniors to be in the commons, and we kind of break up the junior class half and half so that there aren't as many students there. And then they come down and they can talk to the seniors about the experiences that they've had in Capstone. So that's happening on the 18th and 19th. And I just want to point it out because there are lots of different opportunities that kids have had to be talking about Capstone and being introduced to what Capstone is. And that has been happening all year. And Nikki and Nicole and Mickey have met with juniors and one-on-one, talking to them about what their interests are, what classes they have taken. So all of this work goes into making sure that students have a capstone experience that's aligned with their interests and are aware of all the different opportunities that are out there, including not doing an internship. This isn't mandatory. We want students to choose it because they're invested in the experience. And then we have a criminal justice career fair on February 26th. Everything from policing to the courtroom, lawyers, judges, FBI. So every aspect of criminal justice will be represented there with lots of different activities. And it's something that we even invite middle school students to come to. So we've been trying to get the word out. It will be a good event at ACC on February 26th. And then our Off the Pike restaurant is on March 19th. This is probably the last Off the Pike restaurant definitely that we'll have in ACC. So it's kind of a big event. So I want to make sure it's on people's radar and that it's on your calendar. And we'll send out information about that later. It's just a couple other notes. This week we had the Counselor Appreciation Breakfast, or was it, yeah, this week? No, last week, last Thursday. And so I want to give a big thank you to ATAC and to Jen Hornbeck. It was wonderful. It was really, really good. I don't know if I thanked you all for the Principal Appreciation Week that you all did with flowers. So thank you again, ATAC, for that. The recognition always means so much. And last but not least, last year we took all 3 classes, 9th, 10th, and 11th, to Busch Gardens. We did that because the kids always ask for an end of year activity. So we decided to do one big one. But it is a heavy lift and it's kind of an expensive trip. So we don't want to do it every year. Besides the fact that you run out of interest. Nobody wants to go to Busch Gardens every year. So we are not doing it this year. I just want to be very explicit about that because some students kind of think, oh, that's coming up at the end of the year. It's not an every year thing. We in the back of our minds are thinking we'll do King's Dominion next year and kind of maybe do it every other year. But I don't want anyone to think that at the end of the year we're doing a giant all grades amusement park trip. We're not doing that this year. Students are already talking about what they want to do for end of year activities. So we will have those conversations, but there is no large all Arlington Tech amusement park trip planned for this year. And that's all I have.
Message received. There were some questions in the chat for you. Yes.
I was going to say, Michelle, there's a question here that I have a kiddo who's anxious to know when tomorrow's lottery results will be out. Is it same day? Will it take a while?
Nope, it will be same day. They actually do it live, which basically is just hitting a button. It's not exciting to look at.
No.
So there's no reason to watch it. I think they do that for transparency reasons,
Yeah.
but you should receive it. So 4 o'clock, the computer will do it, and you should receive a email within the next 15 minutes, I believe.
Yeah. It's sort of automated if I remember back in the day. Yeah. And there
And
was
I think the only other question was, is the robotics this Saturday? And Kathleen Brewster said no.
yeah.
So I think we're all good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we have our treasurer's update.
Oh my goodness, I gotta get my glasses on and move way to be able to see this. Hi, everybody. All right, so I do need to, I'm gonna squint a little bit here. Make it a little bigger. All right. So the way I ha the way I
Sorry.
that's okay. The way I have this set up is what is approved, what we've spent, and what we still have to spend so that everybody has an idea on where our budget is at. So we do have we do have some money still to spend in a few different areas. Teacher appreciation gift cards. We've talked about that a little bit about that today. And staff appreciation meal gift cards. We have some money set aside for that. We still have a heck of a lot of teacher grants and wish lists that is ready to go. So different projects that the teachers, the grants that teachers want money to come back to different programs for the kiddos. And then also the club grants, that's specifically for the kids. So we have a lot of money left, not a lot of requests coming in. I check my email a lot to see what requests are coming in and what funds are being approved to spend. And so we do have the funds set aside to help kids with those activities. And then we have a little bit left with student activities for dance and miscellaneous to help us through the end of the year. So the next few areas are about student activities in specific grades, the ninth graders, the 10th graders, 11th graders. That's going to be, those are the end of year, the activities, the parties, just the last few months of the year, we expect to get some requests in there, to be able to spend that money. And then the senior activities, obviously, those are the parties that are coming up in the spring. So everything we did in the beginning of the year is going to help fund all of this at the end of the year, which is wonderful. We did not have talk about that trip. We did not set aside money for the trip this time. But if anything is decided, we'll work. Dr. Van Laer knows that we will work with Michelle each year to support anything that's decided to support the children. But I did want to point out one thing. We do two big fundraisers a year, and as everybody knows, our fundraisers are not like, oh, you got to go sell things and go door to door. That's not how we roll. I personally think, just tell me how much I should, and I'll just send the money in. So with that in mind, the second one that we have for the year is always that teacher appreciation gift card. So it's not the big $11,000 ask, but it is a $3,500 ask that we're trying to, just a little bit more. What would you normally give the teacher? $20, $30, $40, $50, whatever it is. And then we divvy that up between the teachers and get those gift cards out to them to say thank you for all that they do for our children. So same donation process as before, the PayPal, the Venmo. We have a lot of different options to be at Zelle. We have a lot of different options to give money in. If you'd like to give money in for the teacher appreciation, that will really help us to make sure we can make their day. And with that, I am done. Any questions for me? Okay.
Nope. All right. So we have a couple of upcoming events. Two that we've already mentioned, the prospective students parents info night and the off the pike night. Another one that's still TBD, but wanted to mention is something called Grace Hopper Day. It used to be called Girls in STEM. Coming up in March, we will have info on that when we can. And April 23rd is the date for the admitted students night. So those kids that all get in tomorrow, we will have them over on April 23rd to learn more about the school. And now we are ready to hear from our guest speaker tonight to learn about the course request process. We're going to talk to our Director of Counseling, Kathleen Brewster.
Good
Welcome,
evening,
welcome.
everybody.
Thank you for
Hi, how are
joining
you?
us.
Thanks for having me. Before I get started, I want to echo Dr. Van Leer's sentiment. We thank you so much for the breakfast for School Counselor Week. It was lovely, and the counselors really enjoyed it. They rarely get time to eat together. They're usually shoving something in their face while a student is sitting right next to them. So it was really nice just to be able to sit and enjoy each other's company and have a really lovely breakfast. So thank
We're
you
glad.
so much for that. And I'm not going to have screen sharing rights, so I will ask if you would advance. So thank you so much. So the first thing you want to know is, who is my child's counselor? This is important to know if you don't already. So we are broken up by alphabet. So Mr. Cruz is students with last names A through D, Miss Kuziel E through L, Miss Schaefer is M through R, and Miss Gentile is S through Z. So they all have students across grade levels, 9 through 12, but they're broken up by alphabet. And their email addresses are simply their first name dot last name at apsva.us. And then Mr. Duraco, of course, he is our college and career counselor extraordinaire. He serves all students. He works mostly with juniors and seniors, but if you have an eager 9th or 10th grader, please send them towards Mr. Duraco. He's such a cool guy, willing to work with every type of student and meet them where they're at. So we love Mr. Duraco. We're so thankful to have him. And so this is the academic advising season timeline. So back in January, we held a webinar. It was on a Tuesday evening, I think, and we've got a video recording of it on our website. It's about 20 minutes long. And it talks you through the academic advising process for students. We encourage students in January and now to be thinking about their classes for next year. It does seem early. They're kind of shocked, but it is time to start thinking about it. So we want to make sure students are on the website exploring the resources that are there, because they are very, very valuable. And so I thought what we would do tonight is take a virtual field trip of the website so I can show you as parents what we want your students to be looking at. So if you go to the February box, you can see we held assemblies for all students. For 10th and 11th graders, the assemblies were in the Commons during Archers, and for 9th graders, it was through Health and PE. We had an elective fair. And then our individualized meetings, so where counselors sit one-on-one with your child, are taking place between February 4th and February 20th. And so we hope to have all of those signed course request forms back by the end of the month, because in March, we start to pull tallies to determine how many sections we need of certain classes. To answer your question, which courses will run each year, which courses we can't run due to interest. And so it's important that we have these course request forms back by the end of the month. So if you would go to the next slide, that would be great. So it's a picture of the new Grace Hopper Center where we'll be next year. So we're excited about that. And if you would click on the Academic Advising Resources tab, this is going to bring you to the Arlington Career Center website. So there's two ways to get to academic advising. You can either click on counseling at the top of the screen and scroll down to academic advising and course selection, or you can scroll down on the main screen and there's a thumbnail photo that says academic advising. It's a little bit further, and course selection information. So either way takes you to the same place. So we're going to go there. And here is some general information about academic advising and course selection. That video is the 20-minute webinar that I referenced earlier. So if you happen to miss that, it's worth watching. It talks a little bit about School Links, which is our new Naviance portal. So it's worth watching if you have a little bit of time in your day. But more importantly is what's below the video. So here are all of our course request forms. So students are anxiously waiting receipt of the course request forms, but you can print one and share it with your child ahead of time, or they can go on and print it. So the first one you're going to want to print and look at is the Grace Hopper Center elective offerings. It's that first one. And this is the big one that lists all of the CTE classes. So it's several pages long, but it lists all of our courses that fall under career and technical education, and also our fine arts classes. And these are clustered by the federally recognized career cluster and then by pathway. So you'll want to go through this kind of with a fine-tooth comb. There's a lot of detail here. Tells you if the course is 1 block or 2 periods. It also tells you what grade you have to be in order to be able to take the class, because there are some parameters around when students can take certain classes. So go ahead when you have time and print one of these up for your student. And then if you'll back arrow, the next one you'll want to print is the world language CRF. So if your child is planning to take a world language, these are the world languages that are offered at our school. So remember, you do need 3 years of one world language for the advanced diploma, or 2 years of 2 different world languages. So either way, and these are the ones that are offered. And if you'll back arrow there. And then the next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to think to yourself, what grade is my child going to be in next year? Are they a rising 9th grader? So I know we had a question in the chat. You can print the rising 9th grade CRF. So for our current 8th grade families, you would print this one, and you can, with your child, sit down, talk through it, talk through the options with them. Our counselors will be visiting the middle schools during the first week of March to meet with the students to complete this. So if your child has already had their eyes on this, or even comes in with a draft copy, they're going to have a much more pleasant experience because they'll have more agency. And so it's really nice when students have had a glimpse of this before they meet with their counselor. If you go back, we'll look at the 10th through 12th grade one, which looks a little bit different than it did in the past. We used to have separate CRFs, one for each grade, 10, 11, 12, but we've consolidated them. So you can see up at the top for a 10th grader, they're going to be choosing their English, social studies, and science. And then for grades 11 and 12, you move down the form. Science for 11th and 12th grade is at the bottom, and math is at the bottom as well. I did see a question about co-requisites. There is some pre and co-requisite information here. There's also some information that I'm going to show you in the Knowledge Navigator, and there's more information as well in the APS Program of Studies. But if you'll back arrow again, wanted to take you, so the Academy CRF you don't need, the English Learner Institute and PEP don't apply to your students, so you can skip those. But what's really helpful is the Knowledge Navigator. So we interviewed teachers and asked them to describe their classes for students. We actually also asked students to describe the classes, but we didn't find that information was going to be very useful and or oftentimes appropriate. So we went with the descriptions that teachers came up with for the classes. So say you have a student who's a rising 11th grader. You will go ahead and look at the rising 10th through 12th grade Knowledge Navigator and say they're trying to decide between English 11 or DE College Composition. These are the words of the actual teacher who's teaching the class. And so when your student asks you, mom or dad, I don't know which one I want to do, and you don't quite know how to answer it, pull this up. I did it with my own child who's rising 11th grade Arlington Tech when he asked me a question about quantitative reasoning. And I said, let's look at this because I really could regurgitate something, but let's look and see what Miss Mascaloni said. And so this is a really, really handy tool when your child is asking you these questions. And it's helpful to walk them through. They're not too eager to look at this on their own, but it's helpful to have kind of a thought partner in that process. So having these tools handy is really going to set your child up for success when they're choosing their class with their counselor. If you go back one arrow, we also have a knowledge navigator for the elective offerings. So that giant CTE course request form that we looked at, we have descriptions of all of those courses as well. And so this is also really helpful just because we have so many offerings. So within these documents, you will find some pre and co-requisite information. If there's something you haven't found here, oftentimes it's in the APS program of studies, which you can just Google and it'll pop right up. Yeah, you're welcome. One of my counselors, one of my counselors is just really into this type of work. And so she spearheaded pulling this together, and it's been invaluable, not just for me as a parent, but for all of our students and families. It's just really, really helpful. So what I would do is print these documents up, and maybe this long weekend, sit down with your child and take a peek at this. And it's really nice. It's just nice for them to have eyes on it before they meet with their counselor. And down at the bottom, we're talking about when the assemblies were. This was all thrown off because of snow, but the assemblies are over. And then when our counselors meeting with students individually, so you can see what subject area they're meeting with your students through. Knowledge Navigator is the one that looks wrong. If you have specific questions about your student or Knowledge Navigator, just go ahead and email your child's counselor and they can walk you through that together and answer any specific questions you have. So students are excited. We have been meeting with them. Even if your student has already met with their counselor, they can still make changes. So nothing's set in stone. We would like to have students have the best idea of the courses that they're going to take by the end of the month, for sure, so that we can start building the schedule. So they don't have to feel bad if they want to make a change. They can just pop by the counselor's office or email the counselor to let them know that they made a change. But having parents be part of this process is really, really very helpful and sets the student up for success for that meeting. So that's about it for academic advising.
Thank you
I don't
so
know if I'm
much.
the end of your evening or not.
No, you're very close to the end of the evening. Thank you so much. And
Sure.
I second the comment you made about the students' advice not always being the most accurate or appropriate, because I was talking to my student just about his courses and he rambled on about what his friends thought about a particular class.
Yes.
And I said, that's great information. I'm really excited that that's what your friends think. I'd like you to go talk to Mr. DeRocco and find out what he thinks about this in
Yep.
terms of next year for college,
Same.
not what your friends think.
You got it.
That's
Yep.
who I would like to hear from about this.
You got it.
So that's great. And those other resources too. If you can't talk to them, look at those resources. It seems
Yes.
like
And we
great.
find the Knowledge Navigator is much more helpful than the program of studies, which is such generic information and oftentimes outdated. And so we're really getting a lot of use out of the Knowledge Navigator tool.
Yeah, those are great.
And there's a question in the chat. It says, I'm sure this is a naive question, which I don't think is true.
Nope.
But are the DE courses taught at ACC or Nova, and are the professors entirely Nova profs?
I'll answer really fast, Kathy, if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
All the DE classes are taught at ACC. They're all part of our classes, and our teachers, APS teachers, are teaching them. Our teachers are considered NOVA faculty. So the teachers who teach DE are also considered adjunct NOVA faculty and get all of the NOVA professional development and have to meet with NOVA faculty and are part of the NOVA department at the same time of being APS faculty and part of APS. So they really are doing double the work to make these classes run, which we completely appreciate them for. And so they still are part of the APS, system.
Fantastic. Okay, next question. Are engineering DE course going to be added?
We not for next year. It's something that we're trying to get in place for the year after.
Fantastic. Are the available / eligible NOVA online courses reflected on the Arlington Tech website?
No. The NOVA online courses early, online course, I think is what Dima's talking about. That is all done through Miss Magro. And students need to connect with Miss Magro if they want to take NOVA classes. Kathy, do you want to add anything to that? Is that?
Just that all of the available and eligible Nova Nova online classes. Yeah, no, direct to Miss Magro for sure. She's in room 230. Yep.
A big reason for that is because NOVA offerings and policies and system is changing all the time. And if we have too many mouthpieces for it, you get incorrect information all the time. So we really like to go through Miss Magro to make sure that we have the most up-to-date and correct information on what's offered.
Fantastic. Are parents expected to sign off on the students' course selection?
YES, yes. Please sign those and counselors save them. Yes.
And then I think final question, will business classes like finance and statistics ever be added at any point?
We do have statistics. We have statistics and we have dual enrollment statistics or we have Prob and Stat and dual enrollment statistics. We have entrepreneurship as well. Maybe finance in the future.
And the entrepreneurship is a DE class taught by Jeff Elkner. Many of you know Jeff from computer science. He's also branching out into entrepreneurship and would like to be able to grow that program as well. So finance might be part of it. I'm excited about his plans for entrepreneurship next year. So
Fantastic class this year. My son loves it. And DE statistics is a class because I believe it's on our form for next year.
Mhm.
Another question.
the difference between stats and DE stats. Yeah. The probability in stats versus DE statistics. DE statistics uh, is going to be harder. It's the college class, so it's going to be meeting the expectations of the college level, of the NOVA level. In DE stats, I'm a big proponent of the DE stats class because the kids do original research. She has them working with national level data sets that are publicly available, and they're coming up with original research questions and work for a whole semester, the second semester, to be able to put together an original research project and a poster and do poster sessions at the college. And so I think it's a great class. The probability and stats class is going to be more of a traditional class.
And Kim asked about difference between DE stats and DE data something, and I also wondered about quant reasoning. It's a little hard to tell the difference on the navigator.
Yeah, so I would reference the navigator, reference the APS program of studies. You can always reach out to the counselors who can direct you to our math folks in the building who can talk more specifically about their classes and possibly even share a syllabus.
Are the profs, are the teachers willing to talk to us? Because I have questions about who's teaching it. Is it flipped or not? Although that's on the navigator. And because my child has had a lot of issues with the flipped model.
So I'm just going to quickly put into quantitative reasoning. is about data science. And it's a lot about visualizing data and being able to represent data in different ways. A lot of spreadsheet understanding what to do with data sets. It is not a flipped class, and neither is stats.
Is there a minimum number of students who need to sign up to offer a class? The answer to that is yes and no. I can't answer that one very clearly.
It would depend on the class.
It depends on the class. It depends on the teacher's schedule. It depends on whether it's needed for different types of degrees. So there's many factors that go into how we determine whether or not we're running a class. We'd like to be able to run every class that a student requests, but understandably, sometimes we can't. Yeah. All right.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you so much.
You're
So
welcome.
informative.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that was our questions. Yep. And that's about all we have. Just want to remind everyone of our meeting schedule. I believe that March 12th, we may be having an in-person social, so stay tuned. That might come up. We might have some information. More to follow on that. Yes, Kim reminded us that yes, we had a lovely 11th grade Valentine cookie social. I think those were the pictures in Dr. Van Leer's update. That's what it looked like to me. So that was
Yes, I just want to apologize. I put the pictures in there so I would remember to say had an event today and to say thank you, and then I forgot to say anything about it. But
I recognize some kids. I took a screenshot for my son. Looked cute.
yeah, they did a great job today setting up a great cookie decorating time during Archers. So thank you so much for the work on that, and the kids really appreciated it.
Great, great, great to hear. So thank you so much. And I believe that is all we have. Is that our last slide? Yep. Thank you so much, everyone. If there's no other questions, we will see you all next month. Have a great evening.